So, Latifat, I just landed on a chunk of money. What should I do? Should I invest first or should I pay off debt? Hey guys, welcome to another episode with Dr. Latifat. I hope you're doing great. I want to make sure that if we haven't met before, just want to let you know that I'm so glad that you are in my world. I'm glad we found each other. This episode is going to be such high value content for you, and I really, really do hope that it helps you. Like everything else we do on our platform, I always remind people that I'm not a financial advisor. This is educational. This is wisdom that has helped me, that has helped many women physicians. And I hope that you can take what can be helpful for you as well, incorporate it so that you can also change your own financial life and live the uncommon life that you call to live in. If you've never met me before, I am the founder of Moneyfitmd, this platform, which includes the podcast, the YouTube, the Money School for Women Physicians, which is where we help badass women physicians that want to live an uncommon life of freedom use the money that they're earning to create the life that they want. If you want to learn more about what we do, go to moneyfitmd.com. Also, in the show notes, we're going to have our phone number there where you can schedule a call so that you can chat with us about how we can help you create like a soap note format of your finances. This is an offer that is for limited time only for women physicians. So your MD, DO, MBBS, DMD. If you're anything else aside from that, we love you, but that is not for you. That's exclusively for women physicians. However, I know that this episode is going to add value to so many of you guys. And by the way, if you're not following us yet on YouTube, make sure you do. You can see my book in that corner, Done with Broke. This is a book that honestly, I wish I had when I was starting out as an attending and when I was starting out in money. It has helped so many women physicians. I need to check how many copies we've sold. We've sold like hundreds of copies. We were Amazon bestseller, and I just love hearing how it's helped people change their finances. So if you don't have it yet, you can go to Amazon.com, Down with Broke, or you can also do Audible. I recorded the Audible myself, so you can hear me yell at you from my book so that you can change your relationship with money. Anyways, I'm so excited that you're here. And the format that I've been doing the podcast is I'm literally taking the questions that people have been asking me about their finances and answering the question here because I want to add value to your life. Like, I realized recently that I'm not here to create a movement or anything like that. But what I'm here to do is I'm here to share, teach, educate, and equip women physicians to change their own life. And my hope is that I will look beside me and just see all the tons and tons and tons of women that have taken the knowledge, the wisdom, the information that I've shared, incorporated it into their lives. And that may be through our money school, that may be with you just hearing and taking it and running away with it. But regardless of whether you're in our money school or not, I'm here to share this knowledge with you. But if you want to take this work deeper to a higher level, get the coaching, the accountability, and the community that's going to help you do this in a way that is more accelerated than if you did it by yourself, then the Money School is there for you. And check the show note. You see the link there that you can text so that we can set up a time to talk and help you see if we're meant to be together or not. So what this episode is about is, maybe you're someone that you got a huge chunk of money from like a bonus, or you sold a house, or you sold a property, or gave you money, like whatever the source of that chunk of money is that is more than what you normally would get every month. Now you have it, and maybe you're someone that has like debt, right? If you don't have debt, then it's easy, in make sure you consider the tax consequences or whether you have to pay taxes on the money, and make sure you have that set aside potentially so that you're not like scrambling when it's time to pay taxes. Or if you're someone that is more aggressive and want to invest it, just know that there's going to be a time when you have to pay the taxes, and so making sure that you have a plan is important. So if you don't have any debt, then the answer to that is pretty easy, right? Invest most of it. And, I always talk about the four asset classes that I'm a huge fan of investing in. I believe in investing in myself first and foremost, because there's a reason why most people that win the lottery end up losing the money that they have. They had money, not necessarily wealth. There's a reason why they lose it. It's because you cannot put old wine or new wine in an old skin. you have to become the person that will be able to do the work that you're meant to do, be able to handle the amount of money that you're going to handle, be able to handle the amount of business that you're going to handle. In fact, I saw a quote recently by one of my mentors, and he said, either become the person that can do the work or do the work so you can become the person. Either way, there's no escaping it. Just do what you need to do. However, the number one asset that I always invest in, and when I look at my finances, I'm just being transparent with you guys. The way that I've invested is literally changed my life. And number one is by investing in myself, in my education, in my tool set that I need to be able to do the work that I'm called to do in my life. That's number one. Number two is my life as an asset, seeing my life and investing in my life as an asset. So for some of you guys, it may mean like investing in marriage therapy, marriage counseling, for like whatever it is. Like when I think about the fact that we traveled last year for across around the world, really it cost money to do that. And if you want to do that, by the way, I created a sabbatical guide. You can go to moneyfitmd.com/sabbatical. Make sure you spell sabbatical right. I'm not going to try to spell it to you because I'm going to spell it incorrectly, but make sure you spell it right. And I created a guide that I'm making free for now for anybody that wants it, to learn how they too can create a sabbatical or time away with their family or by themselves. So for me, if you think about the traditional education when it comes to money, people are like, oh my goodness, that's a liability, blah, blah, blah. I don't define that as a liability, but I see my life, my family as an asset. So me spending, and my husband and I spending the money that we did to travel was investing in an asset, right? So that's the second kind of asset that I always invest in. The third is buying and growing assets. So whether it's like investing in the stock market, outside of the stock market, investing in businesses and real estate, whatever it is, buying and growing asset. And then the last but not the least is creating assets. There is no amount of assets that you can buy that's going to feed your brain and fuel your life and your soul the way creating assets was. But you need to do all four. I don't want you only investing in yourself and not buying other assets. Like, you're not going to do it all at the same time necessarily, but looking at what ratio are you investing more in creating assets, but you're not buying and growing assets. You're not investing in your life. You're not investing in yourself. Like, you want to do all four of them. What, splitting your money between all four, or doing them like stepwise, but diversifying between all those four. Right. So those are the assets that I invest in, right? So if you have no debt, then it becomes easy. Just invest in those four assets and you'll be good over time, compounding, right? However, this question comes up many times when people have debt, right? And I've done many episodes on debt. It's one of the most common concerns that physicians have, and so that's why I make sure that I address it, because I want to make sure that you guys get what you need to be able to go from where you are to where you want to go. However, when it comes to like, so what do I do now? Do I take all this money and like pay off all my debt, or do I take all this money and pour it in assets, right? I'm going to say that it depends. Y'all are like, okay, Latifa, what do you mean? So it depends. It depends on a couple of factors. So it depends on, number one is, where are you in your journey? Are you just starting out? Are you a year from training? Are you 20 years post training? Are you 30 years post training? Are you in your 30s or 40s, your 50s, your 60s? Like, where are you in your journey? And the reason why I say this is this: if you think about paying debt off, which is an amazing thing to do, it's great to do. I don't think your debt, I mean, actually, not that I don't think your debt does not determine your value. How much debt you have or not have is not a reflection of your value as a human being, right? Yes, create a plan for the debt, but don't let it be the determining factor of your joy. Let it inspire you to move, not let it keep you stuck or overworking or grinding to pieces and hating your life, because culture has taught us that debt is bad. Like, I don't buy that crap. I believe in kindness, in self-kindness, because I believe that when you're kind to yourself, you're actually going to make more moves than sitting in like shame, judgment, because culture has decided that we're just going to shame people that have debt. Like, I'm not about that life. Anyways, so I kind of went on a tangent there, because I truly feel strongly about that. But essentially, the question becomes like, where are you in your own journey? That's going to be the question to ask yourself. And then The key is if you pay off debt, what you have is no debt. Does not mean you have assets. It just means you have no debt. And when we talk about wealth building, if one of the most important things when it comes to wealth building is creating assets, you can see that you can have no debt, but still no wealth, right? The other thing to keep in mind is many people don't think about this, but if you have credit cards and you pay them all off, which is potentially great, especially if they have high interest, some credit cards may decrease your balance as a result. So don't always think that the fact that you paid off the credit card means that you're going to have that amount as accessible for you to be potentially used if needed because you've applied all of your cash towards paying off credit card debt. This is what I recommend in general. It is you want to create a plan for your debt. That's important. If you're someone who has only always focused on debt and has never focused on asset, this can actually affect your mindset a lot because you may be thinking of yourself as someone that only specializes in debt. All you do is think about debt, 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 but you don't think of yourself from a wealthy mindset. You don't think of yourself as someone that has assets that fuels their future, right? And so if all you're doing is taking this large amount of money or whatever amount of money that's coming to your life into paying off debt only, you haven't changed your identity. This is one of the reasons why I think it's so important for us to make sure that we're buying asset because there's something that happens to your brain when you start investing in assets. It's like, oh, I am someone that has money. I am someone that their money is working for them. It changes you. It teaches you that you have control over your life and that you're not stuck because you have money that's working for you. And I'd rather have you build from that abundance mindset than from a lack mindset. Are you with me? I'd rather have you build from a wealthy mindset, from an abundance mindset, than from a lack mindset. If you're watching me on YouTube, you can see me like turning right and turning left or whatever. Did I do the opposite direction? Because I want us to grow forward. I want us to build forward. I don't want us to keep living a life where we're reminding ourselves over and over and over again that I'm here cleaning up, quote unquote, the mistakes or the decisions that I no longer would make from my past. Because if you're caught in that, that's all you're going to be stuck in. So that is one of the reasons why I always tell people that if you have debt and you come into money, split it into putting into paying off some of the debt, but especially the higher interest one, but also invest in. Yes, I know that if you have debt that's like 20 something percent and you're investing in something that can make an average of like 10% per year, roughly, depending on the market, I know that the math says pour all your gasoline into paying off your debt, but your mindset and your identity matters. And so, especially if you've been stuck in the debt mindset, it is time to move from that to an abundance, wealth, investment mindset. And so, this is one of the places where the numbers only may not explain or clearly give you the entire benefit of it. But also don't forget that compounding also matters. This money is going to compound for you in future as long as you let the money continue working for you. So this is why most times when I get this question, I say both, because it's not just about the math only, it's about the identity shift. And remember that your identity is your nucleus, like literally out of it flows the decisions you make, not just about your money, but about your life, whether you overwork or not, whether you like pinching pennies or not, whether you passing on a scarcity mindset to your kids or not. All that matters. And you're like, oh my goodness, Latifah, I did not know that it was that complicated. It is. This is like all the stuff I'm thinking about when I'm making recommendations or coaching people about the decisions that they're making, is because this is more than just like the math. This is about the source, the nucleus through which you can get, you can move forward. The other reason too is this. Many times people have debt. There's different reasons why you may have, like, I don't know, like credit card debt. I also like the idea of changing the habits, because the habits that got you into the debt that you may not want anymore is not going to get you out of the debt. So sometimes I actually don't want people paying off their debt with the money that just fell in, because I want them to get in the habit of using the income that's in their lives to work for them in a way that's reflective of the value that they want to create. So that's why I like it when you're taking your income right now and disciplining yourself by building new neural pathways, by asking yourself, how can I take what I'm earning to pay off this thing in future? Yes, you may not pay it off in 6 months, you may pay it off in like a year, but the benefit of this new habit, this new identity, this new behavior, the grit, the trust, the confidence that you're building for yourself, the reward of it, the return on that investment goes beyond money in the short term, but is money in the long term. So just to summarize, and I know that you've gotten more from this than you thought you were going to get, because you thought I was just going to say, no, do one. No, I'm telling you the behind the scenes way of the benefit of making this decision in the right way. Because if you do, it doesn't only change whether you're debting or investing, it can potentially change you. So I would be curious to see, what have you learned from this episode? I hope this has been helpful for you. So if you come into money from whatever, these are the things to consider. If you don't have debt, it makes it super straightforward. Invest in one of those four assets I just talked about. If you have debt, I hope you can apply some of those principles, incorporate it so that it can literally change your life, not just yours, but that of your family. And by the way, if you want help with actually putting this into action, the community, the accountability, the coaching, so that we can coach in your specific scenario, not just like a global hypothetical situation, then I want you to look at the show notes and go ahead and text that number, schedule a call with our team member so that we can help you see if we can serve you in our community and if you are the right fit for us as well. And that is for women physicians only. So thank you so much. I love you. I appreciate you. And don't forget to share this episode with other women physicians. Like, there's such a need for freedom. There's such a need for liberation. There's such a need for us to live life and practice medicine on our terms. And the people that you have in your life, I may not know them. You've been tagged. You are their bridge to this knowledge, to this information. And when you share this link with them, you literally are tagging them. If you're watching it on YouTube, you can type them, tag them in the comment. And don't forget to subscribe. And if you're listening on the podcast, don't forget to subscribe as well. We love you. I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next episode. And don't forget to leave me a review. Talk to you soon. Goodbye.